the first thing I wanted to say before I forget is Don Taylor. That's that's such a cool name. It's, I feel like it's like a stuntman name or like a movie star
Nice.
name or something like that. Which is funny because you actually do a lot. I see the dirt bike in the back there, so you must be into
Yeah,
to some of that stuff.
yeah. Retired. Yeah, I'm a retired professional motorcycle racer, actually, believe it or
Oh, are
not.
you? I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Oh, well, then the
10 time,
name fits.
uh, 10 Canadian championships, and I raced in the US for probably about 6, 7 years on the professional series there. Got
Wow,
hurt a
that's
bunch of times and broke a bunch of bones.
and then what? Retired that and went into HVAC.
Yeah, no, I've always been kind of I've been doing HVAC for, and it's got to be like 16 years now. And I was always a racer. Like I was lucky enough years ago when I was racing in the US that I had a boss that let me, take Fridays off, take Mondays off, and go do the motorcycle thing. And he didn't get too mad when I came back with a broken wrist or anything. So,
Were you working through those broken wrists, or what was happening?
oh yeah, like I remember coming back to work with a broken arm one day, and he's just shaking his head. It was cool because he was into the motorcycle scene too, and his kid raced. So, I was younger. I was in my early 20s and didn't really didn't
Didn't
really
care
care
too
too
much.
much else about motorcycles at the time.
Yeah, I hear that. I get that. So, okay, so you're in the motorcycle scene. You go into HVAC, then you start your own company, Taylor Mechanical. When did you start your own company?
It was actually in 2011, and it was just, it wasn't something I even really wanted to do. It was weird. I just kind of fell into a business. I didn't have plans to start a business. I didn't know how to start a business.
Yeah.
Um, I just kind of started doing work, and after a couple of months, I was like, geez, I can't just really keep doing this without registering a business. So like it was
Yeah.
kind of like I had some family that had small businesses. I'm like, hey, I need to actually do this because it looks like I'm gonna just roll with it for a while. So
Yeah.
I got set up. I think it was like January of 2011, and just kind of went from there.
Yeah. Okay. So when you started that, were you into hydronics right away? Like, was that your thing?
But a lot of my hydronics work and training and education has been self-taught by reading. And I'm the type of person that if I don't know something, I know that I need to know it, and I can go online and like literally read about it and find it. Like we have such a great resource system in this day and age where we can literally access information anytime we need it.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of like amazing resources for hydronics specific. There's these, the Calliope journals that come out are fantastic. There's the
Yeah,
Seek and Development textbooks that are great. I've been stressing a lot the Lock and Bar U website, which has a lot of different like troubleshooting and hydronic calculators on it, where you can just sort of punch in numbers and it gives you results that you're looking for. So in the other videos that we're doing or that I've been doing, like that's something I'm stressing because it's a free resource that anybody could just go
yeah,
learn from. It's
absolutely.
amazing. So you got a hydronics wall in the back there. Um, what kind of fun, funky stuff do you do with some of the hydronic stuff that you get into?
You know what? Like I said, I'm not doing as much new installation stuff anymore. But one of the things that I kind of enjoyed doing was I did a handful of really high-end homes that kind of started like 2 years ago and just kind of finished up over the past year. And it was cool just to take multi-temperature systems, Lochinvar and other boiler brands with multi-temp zoning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge, and a lot of people don't know how to utilize that technology. So some of the stuff that I really enjoyed doing was, running multi-temperature zones and electronic mixing, injection, having snowmelt systems tied into low temp boiler systems and high temp systems. A lot of stuff I did over the years was literally just, I read something and I understood something and I'm like, man, I want to do something with that. I want to find a job where I can do that.
Just go do it.
And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and it was like I said, there's so many resources, and you see something and it's just like, I want to try that on somebody's house or whatever.
As long as you do it right though, right? Because
Yeah,
once you
yeah,
start
exactly.
screwing up, it becomes not fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So before we actually started recording, we were talking about how you had a business, or you had your business, Taylor Mechanical, then you went to work for a larger company and then you went back. So let's talk about that story one more time.
The work stress, and I was coming home and just it seemed like no matter how good of a job you wanted to do, it's like, you're losing jobs to people that are underbidding you, and they're not doing the same type of work. And the stress, just the stress of everything, construction projects, delays, um, that type of stuff. It just put me to a point where I'm like, you know what, like I'm not enjoying this. And the one thing that I can say about HVAC and hydronics is that, like, I go to work, and when things are good, it's like it's not even work to me. I love everything that we do as a company. Um, but at that time, I was miserable, and I was just like, like I just can't do this anymore. And
Yeah.
so I saw a union job come up, and basically, like, I'm a refrigeration mechanic, so I saw a union refrigeration job come up, and it was for a local company that's been around. I want to say since like the 1940s.
Okay.
Um, and it was just kind of one of those things where this company never really hires. And, I got the job, and I was just like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, I'm in, I'm set. I've got a truck, a great wage, a pension, benefits, like the whole union package.
Yeah.
And then, like, when it started, it was just kind of like, the first couple of weeks, I was like, oh man, this is kind of boring. Like, you're put to work, but your opinion really didn't mean a whole lot of anything to anybody. And it was just one of those things where, like, I started thinking, I was like, geez, maybe if I would have just streamlined my business a little better, I wouldn't be here right now. And a couple more weeks went by, and I was just like, yeah, you know what, like this isn't for me.
Yeah.
That I was, I didn't have the opportunity to dream something up and take to action at work the next day or anything like that. It was just very cut and dry, go to your job, make us money, and that's all we care about.
Right.
Which, like I said, for me, like, as much as work is work, it's also a hobby for me. I enjoy thinking stuff up and taking a plan on paper to action. Like, that's part of the reason why, I that brought me back into business, was like, you know what, like, I want to do the type of work that I want to do and nothing else.
Yeah. If you go to your Instagram page too, you can see like the uh, the creativity behind the work that you're doing, right? Because you're posting like the drawings and designs and stuff that you're doing, which is pretty cool.
I'd actually been picking away at stuff like outside of work as well still. So, like, I went to this cushy union job to, like, make my life easier, and here I am working for them and still, like, hustling after work with my own business. And I was like, I'm more stressed now than I was when I came here.
That
So
wasn't the goal. Yeah.
yeah, it was just like, but yeah, no, it got to the point where I'm like, you know what, like, this is 100% not what I want to do. And it was one big job that I actually landed that sealed the deal. I had quoted this job before I started working somewhere else, and I got the call that I landed it, and it was a new boiler system for a really old high-end church, where I had quoted a couple condensing boilers, and we were taking out all the fin tube rad, and we were switching it all over to low temp panel rads. So
Nice.
pretty much when I got that job, I was like, all right, like, I'm out of here, boys, because I got a lot of work to do.
I got a cool job about to start, so I'm gonna leave.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave this one behind.
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. So you go back to your company. It's a little bit better, and you're saying you streamlined it a little bit more, making it a little bit simple, more simplistic, right?
like, I'm on cloud nine right now, where it's just like you're working for the people that you want to be working for. You're working on the equipment that you want to be working on, and it's just, things are great right now. Like,
That's
doing a
amazing.
little
And
bit
then
of work, and
And
once
that
again,
brings
not
us,
too much. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, oh, I was just gonna say it brings us to like sort of what you and I have been talking about over Instagram recently is that you're doing all this service work for it's schools, right? That you're doing all the service work for?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, which is
yeah,
full of Lochinvar boilers, and you were not familiar with Lochinvar
yeah,
boilers, and all of a sudden you rushed into all these schools that have all these Lochinvar boilers, um, and you're learning a whole bunch of stuff about them, and the controls and the piping. Well, not the piping, the piping, but about the controls, and you're
yeah,
familiar with the product now, right? Because you're sort of forced
yeah,
to
yeah.
educate yourself on a new product.
Luckily, I've been working on a ton of Lochinvar FTXL boilers, the Night XLs, and got some Crest stuff coming up soon, which I'm excited to because I haven't actually worked on a Crest yet.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. That's a fantastic boiler. A big boiler, but
Yeah,
fantastic boiler. Yeah. So that's cool, and that's why you and I talk so much. It's actually kind of funny because we've only spoken face to face twice. Once was 2 years ago at the CMPX show.
yeah, CMPX, yeah.
Right? That was
I
when
was
I met you.
canceled this year.
Yeah, they canceled it this year, unfortunately, but shout out to
Yeah,
CIPH for even running that thing. And now, right? Like this is the second
yeah,
time that we've actually
yeah,
seen each other face to face. Most of our communication is on Instagram, which is such a crazy thing, like you're
yeah,
asking me
absolutely.
questions about Lochinvar, you're asking me questions about Bellinghausen, and I'm answering through Instagram. It's just like just a crazy
Yeah.
world, right? The way things work.
Yeah, no, it's the Instagram. The Instagram world's awesome. I mean, I've met some. I've got like a small group of guys. I mean, there's a lot of people on Instagram that are, they're just there flexing their muscles or whatever. But I
Yeah.
mean, there's some guys that I kind of regularly, we all just bounce ideas off each other, and there are people. It's like, man, like your stuff, I know my stuff, and it's like if you ever kind of want to talk to somebody that's like-minded like you, or you want somebody to point out a flaw in your plan, it's like I've got a small little group of guys that we chat, and we always bounce ideas off each other, and it's cool because like there are people just all over North America, and you may never ever meet them in real life ever, but
Yeah.
it's cool having somebody that kind of shares the same passion, and you can talk as if you're co-workers, but you know over Instagram.
Yeah, no, it's wild. Honestly, I tell people all the time, the Instagram community, like especially in the HVAC world, is unbelievable. Like everybody who's on Instagram in HVAC is just purely on there because they have a passion for what they do, and they're just trying to
Yeah,
feed in.
absolutely.
They're just trying to feed information and learn from other people that are, and it's the community is incredible. So that's it's great. It's just great.
Anyone I've ever had like work for me, they're like, I want to learn some stuff. I want to, you know, I always tell people, I'm like, just get on Instagram and just, start following people, and and just look at pictures, look at, the way people pipe boilers, and
Yeah.
ask questions, and just take it in. I mean, like I said, I've said it a million times, like we're so lucky in our generation to have technology at our fingertips. Being
Yeah.
able to pull up an install manual on your phone when you're on a service call, like, tell me how the guy 20 years ago did that.
No, they didn't. They didn't. He just closed his
You'd have to
eyes and
drive
started doing like.
back to the shop and go sit on the computer and search up a manual, and go back, and
Yeah.
we've got it at our fingertips now.
No, it's amazing. So before we go or we quit this, I'll ask you one question. So now that you're familiar with Lochinvar, the FTXL, the KBN, any particular feature or parameter that you like using or that surprised you about it?
You know what? I'm just getting into some of the setup. Like a lot of places I've been visiting recently, they're, boiler rooms that were put in within 5 years ago. And I like the ability, like the ramp delays on the
Yeah.
Lochinvars. I think that's something that it holds huge value. Being able to kind of control the way the boiler ramps. I'm willing to bet that 90% of the people that maybe work on them or put them in may not even know about it. Like I find a lot of people, they don't read deep into the manuals to see the capabilities. And I do find that a lot of times the ones I do see in the field, like they're not being used to their full capability with what they can do.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah.
So some of the stuff I've been playing around with is ramp delays. And I really like the efficiency mode for cascading.
Yeah.
That's something that I don't know of another boiler that has that ability. In a sense that there is some that are similar that I've worked on, but I really like the efficiency operating mode when you have a multi-boiler room,
Nice.
instead of running one hard, running the lead lag. And it's nice that you do have the option to run lead lag if you're using a boiler room where you have two boilers, but the one boiler covers the whole load and the other one's just there as a as a backup.
Right.
So it's nice to have both options.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I had to ask you a Lochinvar question because, I work for
Yeah,
Aqua-Tech and
I'm,
Aqua-Tech's
I'm
doing
looking
that.
forward to being able to, like I said, a lot of the stuff I've seen lately, I don't have the options to run, multi-temp zoning or anything like that with these systems.
Yeah.
But I think Lochinvar was probably the first one to even offer that. I would imagine the multi-zone, multi-temp loads. I don't think anyone was doing that before they were.
I don't know exactly. I think the same, or maybe I've just been trained to think the same. I don't know. But I find that they do a lot of things first, or if not first, then very close to, the beginning. So they've done a good job.
It's a rock solid boiler. Like some of the things I've looked at was, when you walk into a new piece of equipment, you're new there, and it's like, you go through the settings and you look at the error code history, and it's like, I think it was yesterday I saw one that had like 4,700, ignition attempts and 0 failed ignition attempts, which
Oh yeah, that's
is,
pretty good.
and it's common. It's not like it was just that boiler, like some of the other brands I've worked on, they've been nightmares. So I'm not going to mention any brands or any names, but
Yeah, we're not supposed to do that. Yeah.
some of the stuff, it's just nice to see like Lochinvar definitely has their stuff dialed before it's hitting the market, which it's nice to see. And a lot of the Modcon boilers, they've had growing pains.
Yeah, everyone has growing pains. It's just a matter of how you deal and you adapt and what you can do to get out of it. So, oh,
Yeah,
it's good that you
absolutely.
like it, and just keep going, I guess. So I'm glad that we could do this. This is awesome. First
Yeah,
time in 2 years that we spoke to each other face to face, right?
yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks for having me.